So Fatberg is an island of fat. It's floating in the water. We're building it with fat. I mean, basically we're doing this because fat is a very interesting material. What we say is it's probably the most iconic material of our time. It's organic, but it speaks about energy, it speaks about health, it speaks about overconsumption, it speaks about, you know, beauty. And so somehow this material attracted us and we wanted to do something with it. This is our office. It's a shipping container. We have our tools here, we have our fat here.
Yeah, we're taking blocks of pure fat and we're essentially mixing it down and so it's melted, and then we're going to actually put this into buckets so we can transfer it to the pontoons and then start dripping onto the island.
And it's organic, it's not just any material, right? This comes from life, this comes from the body of things, this comes from plants. This has grown. This is basically how sunlight stored its energy in living things.
I mean, it's life's battery.
It's life's battery.
It's life's battery.
It's life's battery, that's it.
Well, we get our fat from all sorts of different locations and places and types. I mean, we always say in the project we don't discriminate. So Fatberg is a mixture of animal fats, vegetable fats, donations from people, fat we buy. It's really about the essence of fat.
The only thing we need hard fat, because of course it's floating in the water. We cannot have oil type of fats. So it needs to be hard, it needs to sort of be solid, so that at some point when the island is big enough, we'll be able to stand on it and not sink into it.
We also have a woman who, I seem to remember, pledged something like 5 kilos of her liposuction.
We didn't really get it yet though. I mean, pledging is one thing, but actually sucking it out of your body is another thing.
Legally also, that's a bit of a grey area.
This is very sexy somehow. Fat is very sexy. It's somatic, it's off the body, so you feel this connection. You can be sort of disgusted by it, but when you overcome this, it can be very sort of, you know, beautiful and warm and nice. Having said that, I have not experienced any practical sexiness around the berg as of yet. Have you, Mike?
Not yet.
Not yet. And maybe we should keep it that way. This is my favorite part actually, is where I build with my hands. I really like it. Sort of nice, warm material.
We've already surpassed the weight of the heaviest man ever recorded, which was 635 kilos, right?
And we know how heavy it is because we've been measuring how much fat we put on top. What's very important for us is that it's organic material, so that by putting it out there in the environment, we're not creating some sort of hazard. And you can see that because actually stuff starts to grow on it. You have these slime molds and algae.
Like when it literally flips 180, you start to see this whole kind of ecosystem like emerges from beneath the water. It's really like a living, thriving thing, even though it maybe doesn't look like it.
So this is a pretty epic moment for Mike and myself, because with this extra 3 kilos of fat, we're gonna bring it up to 1,000. Let's do it. Let's bring it up to a ton.
We should have bought some fireworks.
So that's what a ton of fat looks like when it's floating in the water.
That's pretty epic. Well, the ultimate goal is that it has to be, first of all, big enough that we can certainly stand on it. I mean, it's always been a goal that it has to be island size. Long term, we really have this aim to tow it to the North Pole. There's, of course, this relationship between fatbergs and icebergs, which is a kind of an interesting thing that we're intrigued by. We're talking about a floating energy reserve. You know, we can maybe replace these melting icebergs with this floating energy reserve that allows us to, you know, store energy for times ahead, because who knows what this future holds.
It's not very large, is it? You know, I thought it'd be larger.